Importance of language. Now, English is our major window on modern world. This quotation is said by the Pandit Nehru. Do you remember your first class in English or the first real conversation that you had in the language? Most of us would have memories of making a conscious effort to learn it in an organized school set up in which it was taught to us as a second language in a very structured way, perhaps beginning with the alphabet A. But we have come a long way since then, from being language learners to being language teachers. It therefore becomes imperative for us to understand the role of English in general and in India in particular to be able to teach the language not only as a subject but more importantly as a life skill which our students need to develop in today's global context. English has undoubtedly become a global language. It has achieved such a pivotal role today that no other language is likely to take its position in the foreseeable future. Not only does it have a widespread profile ranging from international politics, science and technology, press and advertising, education, motion pictures, internet and communications, and much more, it has also become the language of at least a quarter of the world's population. It is the first language of the United Kingdom, the United States of America, Canada, and Australia. In addition, it is spoken and read by millions of Europeans, Africans, Chinese, Japanese, Indians, South Americans as a second language. 1 person out of every 4 on earth can be reached through English. If we look at the media, we find that over 50% of world's newspapers, over 50% of world scientific and technical periodicals, and more than 60% of world's radio stations use English as medium of communication. Now, the history of English education in India. Most of us associate the history of English with the British colonizing our country. However, it is as far back as 1759, which we can call the first phase, that Christian missionaries with great zeal and enthusiasm initiated the process of establishing English medium schools in India. The primary desire was to open the doors of Christian faith to the natives in India so that they could come out of the darkness of ignorance and superstition. Although they emphasized the importance of native languages in early education and the learning of English as something expected to only increase the scope of clerical jobs, English medium schools remain the preferred choice over the vernacular schools. The majority started to believe in superiority of English language and literature. The second phase can be said to begin from Macaulay's famous Minutes of 1835, which laid down the foundation of English emerging as a language of power in India. We must at present do our best to form a class who may be interpreters between us and the millions we govern. A class of persons, India in blood and color, but English is in taste, in opinions, in morals and intellect. English education was being developed for creating social divisions within our country. English language gradually became the language of government administration, education and advancement, consolidating its position even further. In the post-colonial era, the third phase, our national leaders felt that English cannot be eliminated from our soil. English language strengthened its root in almost all spheres, although several attempts were made to give equal importance to the mother tongue and regional languages by proposing the three languages formula in 1961. But English language remained on the upward curve in the country. English in India today has assumed overwhelming importance in several domains of Indian society, especially in the domain of education, not only as a subject of study but also as a medium of instruction in many schools. It has specially become a backbone of higher education. Dr. Suniti Kumar Chatterjee views are enough to highlight the importance of English language. According to him,
Importance of
a vital
English
contact
language.
with English
First point
is a
is
fundamental
English
necessity
as a language
even
of
for the
administration.
development
English
of
has been
our
the
Indian
official
languages,
language of
including
the
Hindi,
country for more than 200
modernizing them.
years. It occupies the place even now. It has been declared as associate official language of the Union for an indefinite period by an Act of Parliament in 1963. As such, it dominates the administrative business at the center as well in the states. Most of the administrative work is done in English throughout the country. Second one point is English as a language of the court. Cases are presented and verdicts are given in the apex court and high courts in English language only. It continues to be the language of court. The documents are prepared, the hearings are held, and verdicts are given in court in English language only. That's why English is called as English as a language of the court. Then third one is English in social life. English also plays a prominent role in the social life of our country. For example, whenever there is a marriage or other social ceremony, even invitation cards are mostly printed in English language. Daily routine correspondence is also done in English. Various social groups in the country use English in social and intellectual communications. They put their signature in English most of the times. In this way, English is a unifying force and a unifying factor in the interstate social life of the country. English has been mingled in such a manner in our day-to-day communication that even the illiterate people use words of English like television, radio, gas, sorry, please, thank you, nut, bolt, etc. The list is always on the upward direction as the listener is exposed to newer words. Then fourth one point is English as a language of trade, commerce and industry. English plays an important role in the industrial and commercial life of the country. All correspondence is done in English. National and international trade, development of industry and the working in commercial establishments have taken place in English. Efficiency and success in these fields depends upon an adequate knowledge of English. The maintenance of accounts, issuing of instructions and correspondence with other are conducted mainly in English language. Then fifth one point is English as a link language. English is a link language in India. It is the only language which is understood in all states. Though Hindi is our national language, yet it has not been successful in taking the place of English. In the absence of English language, a person from Tamil Nadu is not able to communicate with a person from Punjab. Apart from being a unifying force within the country, English is our link with the countries of the world, it is only through English language that we have established social, economic, cultural and political relations with other countries of the world. Then sixth one point is English as a window on the modern world. It has been rightly remarked by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru that English is our major window on the modern world. English is a vista through which we see at the scientific, technological, agricultural, commercial, social and political developments taking place in the world. F.G. French has rightly observed, a traveler who can speak English will find somebody who can understand him whenever he may go. Anyone who can read English can keep in touch with the whole world without leaving his own house. Today the world is coming closer. People travel back and forth the other distant places, and people from other countries visit our country. They interact with each other and come close. That is why English language has been called a window through which we can peep and see the whole world. If we shut it, we will be isolated from the whole world, and we want interaction with the whole world, not the isolation. Now, English in education. English language has been crucially woven in our education system. It is essential for a child to study English language at high school level. It is the medium of instruction in the public schools, technical, medical, law and other institutions. More and more English medium schools are coming up as the parents prefer to send their word for education in the English medium schools only. Then at one point is English as a library language. Why it is called as a library language? According to Kothari Commission, no student will be considered to have qualified for a degree unless he has acquired a reasonable proficiency in English in some other library language. And this has twofold implication. First fold is all teachers in higher education should be essentially bilingual. They should be able to teach in the regional language as well as in English. Then second fold is all students, particularly postgraduate students, should be able to follow lectures and use reading materials in the regional language as well as in English. English is the key to the storehouse of knowledge. Most of this knowledge is not yet available in Indian language. It is in this context that the role of English as a library language becomes important in India. It is the only language through which maximum knowledge can be imparted to students. We shall have to retain English as library language if we want to keep abreast with the latest knowledge in various fields such as science, law, medicine, technology, space, etc. Learning English as a library language does not imply that the students would not learn the skills of listening, speaking and writing English. It only implies that the skill of reading would be paid much more attention than the other skills. It enables students to have an access to the latest information in their subject of study. However, equal importance should be given to all the four skills: listening, speaking, reading and writing. Ninth one point is English as an international language. English is one of the major languages of the world. The UNO has given English the status of being an official language. The number of people speaking this language is 350 million. Even Mahatma Gandhi has to say, English is a language of international commerce. It is the language of diplomacy and it contains many a rich literary treasure. It gives us an introduction to Western thought and culture. With the help of this language, we are able to study the culture and civilization of other nations. A person knowing and speaking English is able to have opportunities of employment almost in every country of the world. It acts as a bridge and link between two languages. These days, every country needs other countries' help in political, social, economical, and cultural matters. There comes English as a rescue in this connection. Katak opinions. It would be rash to cut ourselves from the English language, which keeps us in continuous contact with the latest thoughts in Europe. In every field of life and culture, English is being learned and used all over the world, not out of imposition, but through the realization that it has certain inherent advantages. Today, the compulsion of English or learning English are no longer political, but keeping in view the scientific and technological advancement. And no longer in English, the language of Britain only. It is the language required by the world for greater understanding. Then 10th one point is English in communication. The fact that India is a multilingual country with a large number of mutually unintelligible, prestigious, and developed languages tends to encourage people to use English in inter-regional communicative contexts. People tend to speak English even when they pursue the same common language, Hindi or regional language. Then what is the conclusion? It should be clear that the people use English not due to linguistic barrier only, but prefer to speak in English as their own choice. The youth especially seem to be favorably inclined towards the English language as they perceive it as significant for their career advancement. Due to its central role, sometimes it has been considered as a status symbol also. For correct learning pattern, native speakers should be followed. For the English channels and cassettes can also be helpful. Future of English in India. In the context, it becomes the imperative to quote C. Rajagopalachari when he says, "We in our anger against the British people should not throw away the baby English language with the bathwater," means English people. English in India is like phoenix, the mythical bird, which after living hundreds of years in the Arabian desert burnt itself on the funeral pyre and rose from the ashes once again to live for another cycle. English has been with us for more than 200 years and will remain with us for times to come. Means before independence, English language enjoyed a very prominent and privileged position in Indian education and life. After independence, there was a reaction against the study of English. For a time, it seemed to be on its last legs. But today again, English is on the upward curve in our country. In free India, the importance of English is more than what is used to be in British India. On the basis of past and present, we can foresee a very bright future of English language in India as a link language, a window on the modern world, and a library language. This is the importance of English language. Now you come to know.